Bitcoin has just made another all-time high. October and November is set to be the biggest months ever in cryptocurrency monthly history. We've also got the Fed decision for October and December, November to look extremely bullish, looking at even more decreases in interest rates. Overall, this is extremely bullish for crypto, and I'm going to be covering the 4-year cycle topic. Going to be going over interest rates. We're going to be going over the 4-year cycle. Let's go over, and I'll show you exactly how I'm taking advantage of Q4 in 2025. It's set to be the biggest year, the biggest 3 months for crypto. I'm going to show you my full plan. Let's not waste any more time. Dive straight into it. Smash the like and subscribe. Right here, in the month of October, when we look historically at monthly returns from the beginning of Bitcoin since 2023, on average, October is producing plus 20%. Most months are massively green. Out of every single month in crypto, there's only ever been 2 negative October months. Every other month has been bullish. Currently, we're up around that 6% mark. And also November is set to be extremely bullish with a plus 46% average price increase. Really, that number is being pushed quite heavily from this plus 400%. But overall, October and November are said to be extremely bullish months for crypto. Not only that, when we look at quarterly returns, so we look at Q4 for crypto, we come down and the average is plus 79%. We're currently up 6% in Q4. So that's why this last 90 days or this next 3 months of this crypto cycle is going to be extremely important. What I'm pushing into here was a post back on the 6th of October, so just yesterday, 2 days ago, the 4-year cycle. So the all-time low to the all-time high from 2015 to 2017 was a total of 1,064 days long. Then we had a low. So from the all-time high to the all-time low was roughly 364 days. Then the high, so from the bottom all the way to the all-time high, we had another 1,064 days. And right now the pattern is repeating. If this pattern was to print a cycle all-time high on the 6th of October, that would be exactly the 1,064 days we're just talking about. So it might not exactly line up on the 6th of October, but overall, what these numbers is showing is that Q4 is always the biggest year for crypto. If you've watched one of my previous videos, you would have seen how I'm taking advantage of these 4-year cycles. We have 34 months or 35 to 36 months of uptrend. We then go down and have a bearish cycle for 12 months. And it's just continuously repeating. And even if we have a look right here, what month are we in? We're currently in month 35 of a potential 35, 36, or even 37 month all-time high. And then from that point, we will expect at least a small decline in the crypto market. So still expecting huge upwards prices. As we just saw, monthly returns for Bitcoin can be as high an average of 79%. So if we were to see that type of increase, that could easily push Bitcoin to that $200,000 range. Another post here going over the 4-year cycle. 2 things that never seem to change is the 4-year cycle continuously repeats, but then also people expecting that the 4-year cycle is going to die. Overall, we've had and been very, very consistent with these 4-year cycles as we have that 34 to 36 months uptrend. We're now coming into the end of that 4-year cycle. We need to get ready for a potential bearish push. A lot of people don't believe in the cycles, but the thing is the halving cycles is the main factor why Bitcoin follows this 4-year cycles. Because of the halving event, overall capping the supply or capping the overall amount that is pushed out into the supply. Very, very bullish for long term. A lot of people here, even there is no 4-year Bitcoin cycle. Bitcoin was released the wild time secular bear market. So let's talk real cycle. Instead of 4-year cycle, here we can see even crypto, gold, SPX, everything is at all-time highs. Now, what this chart is showing is that overall we do have those 4-year cycles, but within those 4-year cycles, we then have larger 34-year cycles, which shows we have major bear markets that last 10 to 12 years. We haven't gone through that since the early 2000s. Coming over and looking at Polymarket here, we have the Fed decision for October. We can see the statistics right now. It's basically 88% chance that we'll get a 25% basis point decrease. And even I found that December, so we skipped November, we moved to December, still another 71% of a 25 basis point decrease. What that does is overall increases the liquidity because it's now cheaper for people to buy into stocks, into gold, into crypto, because they can borrow that money cheaper if we get these basis point decreases. That's why we're seeing assets really at all-time highs, Bitcoin at all-time highs. We're even seeing stocks at all-time highs. We're seeing gold literally every single day printing all-time highs. Just in the last few days, it's already up like 20% in just the last month or so. The reason is because cheap money is now entering the market. And that's why we definitely expect this continuation for Bitcoin, as we're seeing it across every single aspect in the market. Now, where do you think we are in the overall 4-year cycle? Right now, I believe we're in this belief, the thrill stage. We're getting quite excited, but the euphoria stage really hasn't happened. If you were back here in 2021, when we had the last bullish, massive bull cycle, especially around NFTs, the overall euphoria is nowhere near the same. Everyone was extremely bullish back then. We saw multiple projects 100xing back to back to back, literally launching, then just hitting the 10x within only a few hours. We haven't had this type of euphoria where all projects are literally just absolutely flying. We're still seeing a slight bit of bearish sentiment. It could actually mean that we're waiting for those major announcements like the Solana ETFs and some other ETF where the overall framework is going to be easier to then launchpad other ETFs in the market. So I definitely don't believe we're in the euphoria phase yet, but it definitely needs to come to get that last sweep of liquidity to the upside before we then potentially cap out and the 4-year cycle continues its normal path that we see over and over again. This could be one of the last times to load up on BTC before the next leg higher, and I truly believe that around this 122K. We just poked above all-time highs, right at around that 125K. Makes sense that there's a little bit of liquidity push to the downside. Even just a retest of this EMA would be perfect for that continuation. And a great statistic here, 2.2 trillion market cap now makes up 0.19% of global asset value. So if we were to see Bitcoin just reach even 1% of global asset value, there's huge prices to come. That would even put Bitcoin close to $500,000 per coin. Definitely a lot of chance to still load up on this 4-year cycle. But even then, if we do see that decline, then that could be one of our last chances to load up on Bitcoin below $100,000 per coin before we see that rocket. As I actually pointed out in a previous video, gold actually had a huge demand surge in its market cap. If Bitcoin was to add just that small surge onto its market cap, it would go to more than $500,000 per coin. So my plan going into Q4 of 2025 is to strongly hold my position as we continue to all-time highs. Bitcoin, in my opinion, is going to easily get to $150,000 per coin, especially with this injection of liquidity, as I mentioned, with Fed decisions and interest rates. We could even get to $200,000 per coin, but as we get to those larger price points, definitely would make sense to even just start to deallocate even slightly. I'm not saying the bear market is guaranteed, but if you look at probability and we look at past 4-year cycles, the halving plays a major point, and it makes sense that we're going to rhyme with a similar cycle. If you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe. Subscribe to this new channel because I'm bringing out so much new content. If you have enjoyed, I'll see you in the next one.